let's go ahead and go to Arizona, where there is a lawmaker not only trying to advance we the people, but doing a really, I guess, quasi-illegal thing to do that. Yeah, check this out. Arizona State Representative Stephanie Hamilton being called out by the likes of all sorts of members of the GOP for what they call as an ill-advised prank. Here this is. That is Hamilton walking around hiding the Bibles. Yes, the Bibles that are located in Arizona's, their Capitol building there with all the lawmakers. She takes issue with the fact that there should be Bibles there. That's not okay. Yeah, she was doing this after a small gathering inside the Arizona House Members Lounge. And Stephanie Hamilton, she was caught on camera, as you could see there. And they figured out it was her. This is really interesting about Stephanie Hamilton, excuse me. She is a Presbyterian minister herself. She had been hiding Bibles from the members' lounge in odd places like inside a refrigerator. Stahl Hamilton has explained it as a playful commentary on the separation of church and state and a protest against the weaponization of religion in politics. Now, the GOP apparently did not appreciate her sense of humor, but before we get to that, I definitely have to ask you, Francesca, how do you like this prank?
Oh, I love it. I mean, look, I think, girl, just do whatever. Try, might as well try. Those Bibles are dusty. No one's cracked them in a while. Flip it to the passage, the verse you like, and see, put it in the urinal, put it in in front of someone's lunch in the break room. Like, I just think it's first of all, it's very Karen energy. I mean, so much time on your hands. But secondly, I just think it's funny. I think it's great.
I think it's absolutely wild. I do very much appreciate this call out about fascism. The fact that people are using, or they call it Christian fascism. People are using things in their ministry, in the Bible, to advocate for advancing laws, even though there's supposed to be a separation of church and state. So I can appreciate Stahl Hamilton making this issue known by essentially engaging in this prank. But of course, the GOP wasn't a fan, this per NPR. The prank captured the attention of GOP leadership, who after finding the missing Bibles, decided to install hidden cameras to catch the culprit. Since being caught, not all of Stahl Hamilton's colleagues are laughing. 3 even filed formal ethics complaints against her. We and other members of the Arizona House who cherish our faith and hold the Bible in reverence do not see Representative Stahl Hamilton's disrespect of scripture as playful in any regard. Representatives Justin Heap, David Marshall, and Lupe Diaz wrote in their complaint against Stahl Hamilton last week. In it, the 3 first-term Republican representatives accuse her of disorderly conduct under House rules, theft, and creating a hostile work environment under state and federal laws protecting workers from religious discrimination. Even the failed gubernatorial candidate Carrie Lake had to chime in on what she felt was so incredibly offensive. She hit Twitter with this. This is AZ House Dems member Stahl Hamilton stealing Bibles from the House members only lounge at the Arizona State Capitol. This isn't normal behavior. But Democrats are so used to getting away with everything that they feel emboldened to do bizarre things like this. And the Arizona Freedom Caucus, yeah, they put out this tweet, which is kind of funny. Marked safe from Democrat Bible thief Stephanie Stahl Hamilton, with a picture there of the 10 Commandments. I'm sure it's very safe somewhere up in a Texas schoolroom.
I mean,
anyway,
what is the point? They all they want is the Bible everywhere. So she put it everywhere. She gave it to them. What's not to love? They want in God we trust in everything, right? It's just like, it's so benign, it's so stupid. It's the equivalent of writing in chalk outside of Brett Kavanaugh's home and everyone's freaking out like, oh my God, his life was threatened. No, it's not. That's your party that stokes political violence and to a lot of effect.
And also, why is there a bunch of Bibles there in the House lounge? Like, again, if you have a Bible in your own chambers, that's one thing. But for the lounge to have a bunch of Bibles everywhere when there is a separation of church and state, I give her full props for hiding those Bibles because they completely should not be there. Anyway, the complaint could be nothing. It also could end up in a House vote for punishment. That's censure, at most expulsion, hopefully none of that. But the Arizona Democrats, they're saying that this entire situation is political retribution. House Minority Leader Andres Cano told Arizona PBS that he fears the complaint is payback against Stahl Hamilton. She filed an ethics complaint in March that led to the expulsion of a Republican representative for that lawmaker's role in spreading a baseless election conspiracy about other elected lawmakers. Now, Representative Hamilton has since come out and apologized, I'm sure hoping that the complaints would stop and that the, I'm sure, Republican-dominated legislature won't maybe kick her out. And this is what she said.
Members, I stand here today wanting to acknowledge the offense I committed by my actions of hiding Bibles in the members' lounge. The intent was never to be destructive, to never desecrate or to offend. I acknowledge that a conversation about the separation of church and state should have began with a conversation. I hold Scripture very dear to my heart. It is what guides me. It is what shapes and informs the decisions I make. I have the utmost respect for people of all faiths and for those who choose not to have a faith. And because of that respect, I recognize that my actions could have been seen as something less than playful and offensive. And for those of you who I have deeply offended, I apologize. That was never the intent.
Oh, that's so nice of her. The woman is a Presbyterian ordained minister. Like, she's all about this God stuff. She's just not all about God and the workplace, which is supposed to be where you make laws, where you have a state that is supposed to separate church and state. I don't understand why it's such a big deal, but I also see, or could see, how the Republicans want to strike back at her.
Yeah, no, ridiculous. I can withhold commentary if you want to do one more story, or I can keep going.
Oh, no, this is our last story.
No, look, I think that it's so silly to me that they got offended, right? I was just trying to figure out, like, okay, what exactly is she doing? Because it seems like she was just moving stuff around, right? Like, she was just sort of like playing find the Bible. And no one was looking for their Bible because they claim to support, the teachings of Jesus, but they don't actually read the teachings of Jesus. I mean, maybe they're more Old Testament people. So I think it's, again, Adrienne, we live in a moment where Republicans are so triggered. Yes, triggered, the word that they think the left is. They're so triggered by the messenger and not the message. They're triggered by the fact that there were Bibles in different places versus what is actually happening, which is, yes, the coalescing of religion and government to the point where we can't distinguish a difference anymore. And truly religious laws. I mean, I know we shouldn't be saying things like Ya Al-Qaeda, or like, but it is for a party that loves to demonize Islam and talk about, Sharia law all the time. Look at how religiously guided the laws that they are pushing, or supposedly religiously guided the laws they're pushing are.
Absolutely. Again, y'all need to look it up. It's called Christian fascism. And that's exactly what they are doing by elevating these tenets that are spiritual Christian tenets, and also using that to weaponize and advance law that is completely and totally disgusting, and it's not okay, especially when you have so many Americans out here criticizing other countries for being a religious-based country, when we very much are. My God, you look at our dollar bill and it's "In God We Trust" written across it. It's absolutely junk.